sauce.
Oh yeah, let's get saucy.
Yo, 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 welcome to the Weird Sauce Show. It's your head coach, Fradzuki, right here with my assistant coach, Mr. Jay Stevens.
Star running back.
Star running back, assistant coach, player coach combo.
Yeah.
And we got some other special people in the studio today. We're going to send it around with our panel of experts. Right here, first up, give it up for the man in red, Killer Cam.
Yo, yo, yo.
Mr. Matum.
And next up, you've seen him on our show before, Keith Snow, a.k.a. Frosty.
What up, fam? It's good to be back.
Yep.
Yep. And next up, our third expert on the panel today is, last but not least, give it up for Landon.
Whoa! Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Mr. Hot Take himself right here. You know me, Fradzuki and Jay Stevens. This is our crew for today. You see it on the board. We are going to be discussing fantasy football. Now, the draft is coming up in a couple weeks, so we have lots of good info for you. We have 5 booms, 5 busts at all the major positions. And we got some sleeper picks for you. And we got some Super Bowl picks for you. And we got some other stuff for you.
Wow.
Yep, you're going to
So
have
much
to stay
info.
tuned.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get this thing started off with QBs. Right now we have 5 bust, 5 boom QBs for you. We're going to send it over here to Cam first. Who you got for us, brother?
My boom quarterback is Ryan Tannehill. He's currently going at QB 11, so if you're in a 12-man team, it's one of the last guys taken. I think he's going to go well above number 11. They got a new offensive coordinator. They brought in Julio Jones. Derrick Henry can't run this much forever. He's getting a little bit older. They're going to throw the ball more. Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill's a solid QB,
I mean,
too.
he's always underrated. Like every year he's undervalued, and
Well, and he's picked up more star power this year.
Yep.
He's got Julio. So.
They got more options, right?
Yeah, and I mean he had a monster last year.
Yeah, he never really gets drafted and talked about, but he puts up numbers.
Right.
You know, and that's what you want out of your QB. Somebody putting up numbers.
Yeah, he's going to be better than 11.
Yeah, I agree.
Jay Stevens, I know you got a hot take. You're hyped up about this one.
Wait, who is it? Oh, sorry.
Who? What's his name?
Justin Fields.
Oh,
Justin
yeah.
Fields. Why?
Homer.
Why
Yep.
though? Why you might ask? Justin Fields has the intangibles and the potential to be a star. I mean, Allen Robinson is a top 10 wide receiver. One of the best in the game, Mr. Consistent. We have a nice young wide receiver who I will talk about later. And I mean, Justin Fields is the modern quarterback, man. The man can run, he moves, he's got a cannon, and like the potential for him is through the roof. Like, I mean, this is a true boom sort of situation. He might not get the opportunities right away, but when he does, look out.
Yeah, it always seems like mid-rookie season for a lot of these guys. That's
Yeah.
when they get their break, right?
Yeah.
You got the starter that goes out there. He's obviously the veteran coming in. He does his thing up and down. The fans are getting a little antsy, and they go, put in our number 1 pick, baby. Do it.
I mean, everyone saw Andy Dalton last year with the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
His time.
He wasn't very good.
No.
Yeah, so
He just wasn't very good.
the job is his for the taking. Justin Fields, I like it.
Yeah.
Frosty, who's up on your radar, bro?
I got Dak, coming off an injury. They got a pretty solid offense. And, when he got hurt last year, their line was pretty shoddy.
Yeah.
A couple injuries and stuff. They got
Yeah.
everybody coming back, full squad. You got Zeke coming back. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, he was really good until he got hurt last year.
Yeah. He started out real strong.
Yeah.
That's the deal with a lot of these players. They all have a lot of potential. It's who gets hurt and who doesn't get hurt.
Absolutely.
Dak's got the crew. He's got everything. He's got the arsenal. Let's see the firepower they bring this
I mean,
season.
the receiving core is stacked, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
they have the weapons for him. I mean, if he's healthy, he's gonna have a big year. Yeah.
Yep. All right, my boom quarterback of this season is going to be Matt Stafford, okay? He's moved over. He's got the new team. He's got a new arsenal. He's got new energy, new coach, and he's a thrower. He likes to throw some dime pieces. So
I mean, he's consistent, right? Like, I mean, he's always been good.
yeah. Well, and he's known as a quarterback that throws the ball. Some are known for running, some are known for throwing. He's a solid, consistent thrower, and I think he's got some new weapons. He should be good.
Right. It's not his fault that he played in Detroit.
Right.
I mean, you can't blame him for playing there, right?
Right. Well, and he's never, he needs some weapons. This season, I feel he's going to have it. He's got a good crew.
Yeah.
He's got a good team. They got a lot of momentum from last season. That was the piece they were missing. I think Matt Stafford is going to be the boom.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
And I know somebody else that agrees. We're going to send it over to Landon. Who's your boom QB?
I'm also going to go with Matt Stafford, which pains me to say because I'm a Packers fan. This dude was in Detroit forever.
Yeah.
But we were talking earlier about longevity. This dude was going to give you 16 games every year. He plays banged up. He's passed for 4,000 yards in 6 seasons since 2013 in Detroit.
Yeah.
This dude is there. He's set up to succeed in LA. He's got weapons around him. He's surrounded by coaches that know how to move the ball, not inept coaches from the Lions organization that just don't know what they're doing year in, year out. I feel like Matt Stafford is going to be a fucking beast this year.
Like I said, I can't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, he's in one of those positions now. He's got the team. He doesn't have an excuse. You're in Detroit. You're with some of these teams. You go, well, what did you expect him to do? I mean, he's got nobody.
Right.
Now he's got some weapons, so it's time to produce, baby.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so those were our 5 booms. Now we got 5 bust for you. These are guys that are projected to do well and we think are not going to produce. So we're going to send it back over to Cam. Who do you got on your radar, bro?
I got to go with Tom Brady. And I know that that's not going to be a popular thing.
I'm okay with it.
But, you know, I don't have a bunch of numbers to back this up. You know, I know he's the best, whatever, but he's so old and it's got to stop sometime. And I'm saying it stops here, it stops now. Maybe it's a little bit biased. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Maybe this is just more of like a hope, but I'm trying to will it into happening here. Brady's going to bust this year.
He's just got so many weapons, though.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of those players. He is a love or hate player, so we do have a little hate, little shade thrown his way.
Yeah, I'm always okay with Tom Brady sucking. You know, if Tom Brady, I'm fine with the bust, just strictly because I just want him to suck.
It.
Yeah,
I'm just ready for it.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
I feel better about him winning with the Bucs though than I did with the Patriots. I don't know. I just didn't really like Belichick. I didn't like that whole little thing. So
I agree.
At least the Bucs, it feels like, all right, you guys are a good team. I liked all the other players. You like Godwin, Mike Evans, you know, so.
Well, they did it once. That's enough.
I agree.
All right, so
that's enough.
all right, we're gonna see if he's gonna bust. Jay Stevens, who's your buster?
My buster, and we'll have a little talk about this because I know it's Frosty's and Landon's all buster as well, so they can have a chat about it when I'm finished. But Jalen Hurts, man, like I don't think that he's not good. I just don't have any faith in Philadelphia's offense, man. Like,
Oh, they're garbage.
they're garbage. Miles Sanders, who I will also talk about later, just kind of sucks, man. Like, he can't. I think he was rated the worst pass catching back in the league last year. He's not very good. I mean, Devonta Smith, I'm okay with him being. I would like him to be good, but I mean, that's all they got there, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, they don't have any. I mean, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Like, if you're on that train, then, you know, ride that fucking train. I don't want to be on that train.
Well, in today's league, though, that's not anything compared to some of these other teams.
No, I mean, I just don't have any faith in him being able to put up relevant, consistent fantasy numbers. Yeah, that's basically it.
Now, we also had Frosty and who else? We had Landon. We had 2 other guys. So you guys want to chime in on Hurts and why he's a buster?
Yeah, I mean, just building off of what Jay Stevens said, they just don't have it. Philly can't protect him. They can't keep him safe, and he just doesn't have the weapons needed to succeed.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it's just plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. Like, when it comes to, like, there's offenses that you want pieces of, and there's offenses you don't. Like, I mean, I'm sure Jalen Hurts is going to have games where, you know, he rushes for, you know, 100 yards and runs in a couple touchdowns. That's definitely going to happen, but I just don't see the consistency in him being able to pull it off weekly.
Yep.
What do you think, Landon?
I've got to agree with that. He's got a new head coach. He's a first-year starter, and he has to learn a new playbook. And we're talking about lack of protection. That's one of the reasons. That offensive line in Philadelphia gave up 65 sacks last year.
Yeah.
65 sacks, which was number 1 in the league. Like, 15 ahead of second place.
Yeah.
Like, they don't protect their quarterback. This dude's got no one to throw it to. He's got no one behind him. He's going to get destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, those 3 guys are not big on, I guess, small on Jalen Hurts. Not big on him. Yeah, he's going to be a bust. My bust of the year is going to be Cam Newton. Just like our boy Cam over here said, Tom Brady's done. I think Cam Newton's done. I think he's done. He hasn't been relevant and fantasy relevant. And I feel that he's actually hurts your fantasy team because you have faith going, hey, even if he's not going to throw for a lot, he's going to run. He's old now. He's busted up. I don't think he's going to do anything. If he can even hold the starting job the whole season, which I doubt because they got a brand new, but he is going to trick some people into going, oh, he's Cam Newton. I'm going to draft him. Don't draft Cam Newton. He's going to bust. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and to just echo off that a bit is there are a ton of mobile running quarterbacks now, right?
That aren't in their 30s.
Yeah, that aren't in their 30s. Like back in the day when Cam Newton was doing this, it was like, he was one of the few guys who was actually killing it, in the run and in the pass, right? But now, there's so many quarterbacks that are doing that, and Cam Newton's just old.
And, you can't even really name a receiver on the Patriots now. We're going to talk about one later on coming up, a little up-and-comer. But, they just have a team of nothing now. They're just one of those teams that nobody talks about. So, all right, those are our QB booms and busts. We hope you enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to move on to running backs. Right now, we got 5 booms, 5 busts for you. Get these guys or do not get these guys on your team. We're going to go around with our panel of experts right here, starting off with our boy Cam. Who do you got for your boom running back?
My boom running back is Darrell Henderson for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, yeah. I like it too.
Akers is out. Brown, the other guy that they were kind of had that 3-headed monster for a little bit last year, he's also out now. So Henderson's just the only guy left, and we know that offense is going to be good. We've seen running backs under Sean McVay put up a bunch of numbers before. Henderson had flashes last year, a little bit inconsistent, but now I think he's just the only guy there left. He's the only one left. They're going to score. His current ADP is, what do I got here written down? His current ADP is 70. He's RB 25. He's going to be way better than that. Way better.
I agree. The only problem with, not even just Darrell Henderson last year, but just, you never knew who to play.
Right, they had that 3-headed thing going on last year.
I think 3-headed monsters.
Yeah. That's becoming more of the standard, though,
But
by committee,
Yeah, by committee. But it's like, I think Akers would have been the guy, but he's out for the year. Malcolm Brown, I don't know where he went, but he gone.
He went maybe Dolphins? I don't know.
Yeah. He gone, but I like Darrell Henderson. I like that pick especially for where he's being drafted.
Okay, moving on to Jay Stevens. Who do you got as your boom RB of this year?
I liked this guy last year, and I like him even more this year. I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson.
Oh, yeah, he's big on Gibson.
He's a monster. When your coach comes out and says that they want to give him a Christian McCaffrey-like workload and use him similarly, that's a good sign, right? Christian McCaffrey is the consensus number 1, best fantasy player, and I don't think it's really even close. And when someone compares, a young second-year running back to that, that can only mean good things.
And who's their QB this year? Who are they starting?
They're starting Fitzpatrick. They're starting
Football team?
Fitzpatrick, the football team.
Football team to be determined.
Football team.
Yeah, the football team, and
Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic, and nobody has any. JD McSmooches is not really a guy. That's JD McKissick. I think Antonio Gibson's a smash.
Yeah, Gibson did real well last year for fantasy owners, and he's only projected to go up from there. So Jay Stevens has him as a boom. I like it too.
Yep.
Frosty, who you got, bro?
I'm looking at James Conner. To have a resurgent year.
Resurgence.
He had a poopy year last year.
He got a new knee. He got some new body parts.
Yeah, there you go. He's in Arizona. He's got a better line.
I absolutely hate that pick.
I think controversy. I think
James Conner is going to be boo-boo.
Well, the thing about James Conner is he does catch a lot of balls. So he's more valuable PPR, right?
And he's a big guy. They need a bruiser to go in on third downs and
Chase
get that.
Edmonds, he catches balls, and he is their running back.
It's not my pick. You talk to him.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Connor's
I'm just saying.
I think they're going to utilize him more on third and shorts to get in. Get that short yardage that Chase is a little too small for that.
Because but if they're going to use the man for third and shorts, he's going to come with the stat line of 5 carries for 12 yards.
And 2 touchdowns.
And
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Get those tutties.
I I would personally.
Yeah, well, that's why we got 5 different people here on the
why,
panel.
That's
you
why
know?
we're all here.
We're giving you lots of different info. It's up to you to decide, but that's Frosty's pick. All right, me this year, I'm feeling I wanted to kind of choose somebody lower down, somebody nobody's talking about really. I got Raheem Mostert on my radar, okay?
Yep.
San Francisco 49ers last year had the most rushing yards of any team. They did it quietly. They didn't have a number one guy doing it all. But all their guys, when they were playing, if you're the San Francisco 49ers running back, you're going to get some yards. They got even better offense this year, I feel like. Raheem Mostert, when he was out there, he put up big numbers. I think everybody remembers that run he had last year, right?
Raheem run. Like, I mean, he's definitely capable.
Yeah, so
definitely capable.
when he was in the game, he always put up big numbers. He was hurt some of the season, as is most running backs. But I just think that if he can keep it together, he's got a good offense. He's 1 year older, more experienced, and he should be putting up some numbers. So there's a little boomer for you out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I think the only concern with him is the health, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like when he's on there, he's producing. You just got to worry is it. You know,
I mean,
they stay out there,
right? And they were in a similar situation to like LA was last year. What Cam was talking about, with they had those 3 running backs, and last year Raheem was the guy, but they also had Tevin Coleman and Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson
My
was
name is
picking.
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, picking up all the dirty touchdown.
Yeah,
points.
he was. So, but I mean, I think it's the health thing with Raheem, but I think he's getting drafted similarly to Darrell Henderson, and I think you can get.
Yeah.
If you get one of those 2 dudes in that spot, you're happy with it.
Yeah, if you can pick up a late round running back that's a number 1 for their team, and that team is a high offensive team, you're giving yourself a better chance. All right, you're giving yourself a chance. So
you're gonna rake in points.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
what you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Lando, you're up next, bro. Who do you
All right.
got?
Well, thank you. I picked this guy because I felt that going into the season, he's just been flat out disrespected. And I hate it for him because I like the dude. The dude is a workhorse, and you got to look to the Windy City with Da Bears and go with David Montgomery.
Yeah.
The dude.
Oh, yeah.
He right now they're putting him at RB21. He finished the
I
season.
don't understand that, dude.
No, he finished the season last year RB5 with 1,000 yards, 54 receptions.
You hear that, people? David Montgomery was RB5 last year,
RB5.
and he was RB1 for the second half of the season.
Don't sleep on him.
He had 1,000 rushing yards. He catches the ball. He's on the field for 3 downs.
Mm-hmm.
At least he was last year. I think you said Tariq Coleman.
Tariq Cohen, he's back. But I wouldn't be. That wouldn't affect my.
That's not going to cut into
now.
Montgomery's production, right?
Yeah.
So no, I mean, and we all have talked about this before. Like Dalton is there, not for long. He's going to have a rookie quarterback. They're going to run the ball with a rookie quarterback for sure. He's going to get his looks. He's going to get his yards. He's going to get his touchdowns. And if you pick him, you're going to get your points.
All right. Yeah, so those are our 5 boom picks at RB. Those are guys that are going to help win your league. Now we got 5 picks for you that are not going to help win your league. You're going to probably wish you never had drafted these guys. So these are our 5 bust picks at RB. Killer Cam, who you got, brother?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins.
Stay away from him, all right? Once again, maybe I'm feeling a little bit personal. I drafted him last year. He did not. That was on me and Jay Stevens co-managed team. He kind of did us dirty a little bit there. But look,
oh yeah,
Dobbins is RB16 right now, and I just don't see him finishing the year that he's not going to catch a lot of balls. Lamar does not check down and throw to his backs very much.
No.
So you're going to miss out on all those points. And I just don't. I mean, maybe he has a year where he scores a bunch of touchdowns and it works out, but like, I don't want to rely on that. If I'm going to take a running back that high, I want a guy who I think is more consistent and is going to catch the balls. And you can get guys like Montgomery right around the same time that people are drafting Dobbins. And I'd much rather have Montgomery for those reasons that we talked about than a guy like Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, this is what Cam thinks of you.
Yeah.
I just hit the answer of the wrong buzzer. You guys couldn't hear that.
I think just to kind of piggyback off of what Cam was saying is that with J.K. Dobbins, I need to see it to believe it.
Yep.
That's basically it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of hype on him last year, and he didn't really produce for a lot of people. So watch out for him. Jay Stevens, who is not on your radar?
So I initially just had one, but I just went ahead and threw them both in there because I think they're both pretty trashy, and that's going to be don't draft a running back named Miles.
If his first name is Miles, don't draft
Do not
him.
draft him.
What are you talking about?
I'm referring to Myles Gaskin, and I'm referring to Miles Sanders. And I talked, you're garbage.
Yep.
You're garbage. And I talked earlier a little bit about, with Miles Sanders, I talked about earlier. I mean, in fantasy, if you're in a half PPR or a full PPR, whatever, points per reception, right? Like, you want a running back who can catch the ball. Miles Sanders was dead last.
Absolutely.
And he's also the kind of guy where it's like, I think it's Miles Sanders needs to show what he can do, and he hasn't. And people keep expecting him to, and I'm done expecting him to. I will not take Miles Sanders, and I won't take Myles Gaskin just because I don't
And
believe
don't
it.
forget that offensive line in Philly that we talked about. Garbage.
I'm trying.
No way.
trying
Not
not
reliable.
to just bash the Eagles that badly, but I don't like it. Myles Gaskin, I'll just get there quickly. I just have no faith. I think he probably outperformed. He was a waiver wire guy last year, right? And he was good, but I just don't have any faith in Myles Gaskin either.
Yeah, I'm feeling those picks too. Frosty, who you got on your buster list?
I got Swift for the Lions.
Oh yeah, okay, I
Stashed
could
up there-
feel that
stashed
one.
up there in
DeAndre.
Detroit, and it's Detroit. Like, they're not going to be able to protect him.
It's where players
He's gonna
go to
get hurt.
die.
Exactly. They just, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, he's a similar sort of player. A bunch of hype around him, never really did anything.
You
You
always
know.
Well,
His name
it
thrown
is
around,
only his
and then-
second year, though. I'm with you. I agree. He's not high on my radar either. But like J.K. Dobbins, I need to see something.
Show me something.
The
Show
only
me
thing I
something.
remember about DeAndre Swift is the first game of the season last year where he dropped a wide open pass in the end zone against the Bears to lose the game. He was wide open in the end zone with no time left, and it went right through his hands. That's all I remember about DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. Okay, my bust player of this year at the running back position is going to be Melvin Gordon. Sorry.
The third?
The third.
Okay.
That's right. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Not the second,
Wait,
not the first.
There's more?
Oh,
Yeah, there's more. He is the third.
Yeah, and he's actually looking like a third string at this point, okay? The dude is old. He's a little bit busted up. They got newer players. When you look at the stats, players that have played his many seasons, you really kind of fall off at the running back position. You got about a 3 to 5 year window. Melvin Gordon is way past that. The old flashes of the flashy, good Melvin Gordon, that's the player you want. But unfortunately, that player was about 5 years ago. So I'm just not feeling Melvin Gordon. People are still hyped up on him. They think that he's going to come back fresh and be able to produce. I'm not plugging him anywhere into my lineup unless it's a bye week and somebody's giving him to me as a Christmas gift or something. But Melvin Gordon, see you later. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, free is the only way to get him.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like him either.
All right, Landon, who you got, bro?
I'm going to have to go with Najee Harris in Pittsburgh, the
Oh,
rookie.
you're going to piss some people off with that one.
There is an unbelievable and I feel unwarranted amount of hype around this kid. He has, obviously coming out of Alabama, he's the same height, the same weight as Derrick Henry. He put up, let's see, what is it? He put up 3,800 yards and in his time at Alabama. Derrick Henry put up 3,500. He ran for 46 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for 42. So I think a lot of people are banking on, this is Derrick Henry 2.0. And I'm like, pump the brakes on that argument right now. Like, everyone knows that Derrick Henry is a beast. There's not two of them. It's not going to be Najee Harris. Plus, he's in Pittsburgh. We've heard this argument before where people are like, oh, James Conner, this dude's going to be a beast, and he wasn't. Plus, you've got a lot of down the field options in Pittsburgh, and they're going to throw the ball. Like, he's going to get, Harris is going to get volume just simply because there's no one else there.
He is.
So he's going to get you some points, but I don't think he's going to. They've got him at RB8 right now, and he's not going to finish in the top 10 of running backs this season, which is why I put him as a bust.
I agree.
I think every Steelers running back, you get about one hot season, right?
One.
Le'Veon had a hot one, and then he fell off. James Conner had a hot one, then he fell off. So,
You have a hot one to get that money, and then you're just like, I'm good.
I
And
mean,
then you just
them
coast.
boys got paid afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on the Najee Harris. I mean, I think his potential to be good is still there.
It's there, for
but
sure.
I mean, if we're just gonna go strictly on, I mean, he's RB8. What did you say David Montgomery was after finishing RB21?
21.
David
And they're
Montgomery's RB21, and this kid, a
coming
rookie,
into this
unproven
year,
rookie.
Number
8.
5. So like just to go back to that just for a quick second, but it's like, dude, so it's like Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, David Montgomery. And they're putting Najee Harris at RB8?
Yeah. Well, that's why it's a controversial boom or bust
Yeah,
pick. That's
I
why
like
we
it.
threw him on the list.
I like it.
Let us know what you think down in the comments. Who's your boom or bust running back for this season? And we'll see you in the next segment talking about wide receivers.
Yep.
All right, we are going to move on to wide receivers now. We just gave you our running backs and quarterbacks. Now we got 5 boom, 5 bust wide receivers for you for the 2021 fantasy football season. First up, we got our boy Cam. Who is booming for you at the wide receiver?
I got Debo Samuels. And
Debo!
everybody's going Ayuk right now. Everybody's really high on Ayuk, and I get it. I think that's possible, right? But as everybody's going Ayuk, I'm going Debo. And I think you're going to get Debo at a really good rate because people are so high on Ayuk that they're going to pass on him. He's going to drop, and he's going to drop in your drafts. And I think you're going to be able to get him for a great value. So Debo.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was highly touted. Debo was highly touted last year, right?
Yep.
So like
the man runs great routes.
he does. He is coming off of a injury-riddled season, but I like Debo, so yeah.
Yeah, another thing to watch out for sometimes when you have that rookie QB in your system, though, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes takes a little time to iron out. But, yes, Debo is a great athletic player, so watch out for him. Jay Stevens, who else should we be watching out for?
I'm gonna go with Darnell Mooney.
Mooney!
Yeah, he's the Bears. He's the Bears number 2. He's the Bears number 2. Yeah, that's why I couldn't go with Montgomery too. He's the Bears number 2 this year. He's lightning fast, man. He has a super high catch rate. It's just Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney, man. And like he's gonna get volume. He's gonna get receptions. We don't have anybody else that can catch the ball. I mean, we got Jimmy Graham. He's old. Yeah.
Jimmy Grandpa.
He's
Graham, wow. Name drop.
He's a number 2 receiver. For the Bears, and I think he has a potential to be very good. And he's being drafted very late as well, like maybe 10th to 12th round sort of thing. So
Yeah, he's a good
Worth
player
a
to pick
flyer.
up late. Yeah, is a fly player that you can get really low that has high potential. That's a good boom. Frosty, who you looking at this year?
Looking at Tyler Lockett, you know, with Seattle. I think he's going to have a monster year. DK obviously went off last year. He's going to start, getting a lot more attention from the top corners and safeties and such, and it's going to leave Lockett to grab those balls.
They pretty much flip-flop last year, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
Metcalf was balling out in the beginning, and then Lockett turned it on end of the year. So that was very frustrating as an owner.
Lockett is so frustrating, man. Like he would put up just absolute monsters, and then he would just go dud,
Yeah.
dud, dud, to the point where it's like, I got to sit this dude, but you can't sit this dude because once you sit him, he's going to score 3 touchdowns and have 250 yards.
Yep.
Like. I agree. I think he's a great boom,
That has
boom
always
player.
been why I haven't drafted him,
Yeah.
because he's just not consistent.
Yeah, and like
Week in, week out, he's not consistent.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to own him again just for that reason alone. Not that he doesn't have the potential to be a monster, but he's so frustrating.
That's one of those frustrating situations, too, where you got 2 receivers that are almost equally as good. You don't know who's going to come out on top, right? Like a Thielen, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. Now these 2 guys. So it's kind of like those guys, when you have 2 really good guys and you have to coin flip, that can also be a negative, towards them.
We're doing booms or busts right now, and that is Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be
is
that guy.
The boom or bust wide receiver,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I also, though, think that Lockett is a great value this year. Jay Stevens and I co-owned him in our league together, and I kind of agree with you. He is frustrating at times. I'm still on him for at least one more year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, my boom wide receiver of the season is going to be CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, people are high on him, man.
Yep.
Gotta agree with
Yeah.
that.
Texas boy. He's actually from right where I grew up. He's went to the high school that's like 10 minutes from my house. It's a new high school, but yeah, he's a Fort Bend County, Houston, Texas boy. And yeah, I like to see him balling out, doing real well. I mean, he's an absolute athletic beast. He's another one of those Randy Moss type, Michael Irvin type, receivers. He gets action. He's good. No matter how much coverage you throw at him, the dude's going to get open. So it's his second year coming out. He stayed healthy all last year. There's no reason to believe with a healthy Dak, with a better Cowboys team, everything's lined up for him to do big.
Yeah. Sorry, but we'll get into it later, and I'm sure Cam will actually talk about it a bit later. But like, you can make, I'm excited to see the argument to be made on the other side, because I think there's a good argument to be made that he could be a bust as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's getting drafted pretty high up in the wide
Yeah,
receiver,
he
so
is.
people are expecting him to boom. Some people don't think he can do it. I think he's going to beat his projection, and he's going to finish as a top 10 receiver. So I think he's going to be booming.
Oof, man. I mean, if he finishes as a top 10 receiver, he's going to have a big old year.
Oh, yeah, he is. And he's going to. All right, Landon, who's on your list?
I got to go with CeeDee Lamb as well.
Yep.
He's entering his sophomore year. He's one of those mid-round wide receivers that everyone knows. Like, if they've got a productive rookie year and they go the mid rounds in their sophomore year, they boom.
Dude, but he is shooting up. Like, he's going like third round now.
He's. I think the reason is like that I picked him is because this will be the last year that you'll be able to, like, if you like in an auction draft, we're in an auction draft, so you got to pay money for him. This might be the last year that you can get him for somewhat cheap.
It'll be.
Plus,
I'm interested to see what
we
he
know
does go
he's
for.
got Mike McCarthy as his head coach. We know that Mike McCarthy likes to throw the ball. Like,
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy's not great at using running backs. Dak is back. Dak is going to throw the ball down the field, and CeeDee Lamb is going to be there to catch him.
Well, I think if CeeDee Lamb comes throughout the season comes to be their number one wide receiver, like if he's the number one, Amari Cooper, we could tell that he's the guy, then he's going to have a monster year. But if there's,
I think that's how they're going to run him as the one, I think.
I think so too. But I think if there's any sort of question throughout the year, if it's Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, I think if that's even a question, then he's not going to have as good of a year as we
Over
think.
under 10 touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb.
Over.
Yeah, I'd take the over.
All right.
Yeah, he should have a few games where he gets 2, and then he's got to sprinkle in a handful
Yeah.
here and there.
10?
All right, so we got an under, and I like Jay Stevens. I'm excited to hear the poo-pooing
Yeah.
of CeeDee Lamb.
The argument against
We're
him.
going to hear more about CeeDee Lamb coming up in our next segment. We got 5 wide receiver bust for you. So while we're still on the topic of CeeDee Lamb, Cam's our first one up. This is his bust pick. So why don't you tell the people
Who is it, Cam?
why you're feeling that
Who
way?
is it?
CeeDee Lamb
No.
is going to be a bust this year, folks.
Oh.
I wouldn't get my fantasy advice from Landon. I'll start with that as being my first argument. But look, okay, CeeDee Lamb, great talent. I'm not arguing that. Dak is back. That's obviously huge. But look, there's still Amari Cooper. There's still Michael Gallup. Zeke is back and healthy. He's going to obviously be super involved. And I just don't see there being enough for everybody to get theirs. Maybe one of those guys totally falls off and CD can do it. Maybe the 3 of them all just lose a little bit, right? CD's going around now like wide receiver 11, getting up into the
it's
top 10
high,
now.
bro.
And I just, with that many other mouths to feed, I don't know. I just don't think he's going to do it. I mean, he's got a great talent, but there's just one ball. There's just
I
one
know.
ball.
I'm with you. I mean, that's the argument I would make against him as well. Just strictly the fact that, like I was saying earlier, he is shooting up draft boards. Like he's being, picked like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, Landon, because you picked Najee Harris as your RB bust, and CeeDee Lamb is getting that same sort of like respect and kind of thing. And it's like,
But at least we've seen CeeDee Lamb play professional ball.
Yeah,
So that's
yes, I agree. You're right. You're right. But it's just, I don't know what side I really am on that, but I can see the argument to be made. If he was a bust, I would not be surprised.
I just think in that range of wide receivers, there's better, safer options.
There's got to be.
It's kind of a shoot for the moon pick too, like because the ceiling is really high.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, and that's what makes a lot of these boomer bust picks, like you were saying earlier. They have the
Right.
potential, like, hey, you should be putting up 300 fantasy points this year, but you could also put up 100 fantasy points. So it's like you are expected to be putting up points, whether you do it or not. That is going to determine if you're a boom or a bust.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, you don't expect them to do much. You go, hey, if you can go out there and catch 3 balls like a tight end, you give me 3 receptions and
Right.
50 yards, I'm happy. I'm not expecting a touchdown. But these higher ranked guys, you do expect them to do something. So, all right, good pick. That's a bust. We have CeeDee Lamb on boom and bust. Up Jay Stevens, who is busting for you?
A busting for me is Mike Evans. The reason I say Mike Evans is because kind of a similar situation to what Cam was talking about with the Cowboys. A lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. I mean, they got Godwin, who some people might forget, but was the number 2 fantasy wide receiver 2 years ago with Jameis Winston as their quarterback. This will be Godwin's first year, healthy year with Tom Brady. And when Mike Evans last year was doing anything remotely good, it was like he was putting up games where he'd have like 2 catches for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like,
Yeah.
Is that really what you want to count on? Like, Mike Evans isn't their possession receiver.
Well, and Brady's at that point in his career, too, that he's not launching 50, 70-yard bombs.
Right,
He's
yeah.
he's making the smart pass, and that's going to include, getting it to all the receivers. So Brady's a good, experienced quarterback. He's making the smart play. He's not just airing it out to the fastest, best guy. So that's the problem with the Bucs receivers. You do have a lot of firepower. They're all great players, but sometimes it works against them. So Jay Stevens says it's going to be a bust. Mike
Yeah.
Evans.
What do you think?
I almost picked Mike Evans
Yeah.
for the exact same reason like we're talking about. Evans is on like some crazy streak of 1,000-yard seasons. Maybe every single one of his career. He's gotten over 1,000 yards. I think that ends this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, next up, we got our boy Frosty, who is not going to make your team this year, bro.
Got to be Will Fuller. Down there in Houston.
Will Fuller, don't disrespect the only good Texan. Come on.
Will
He's
Fuller.
the only good Texan player. Throw him a bone.
No, what do you mean? He's not even a Texan player. He's in
Oh,
Miami.
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
He's going to suck nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
Either way, he's gonna suck. He's always been that. He's got some highs, but his lows are just.
He's
too
also
inconsistent.
a boom. He's like a broke man's Tyler Lockett, dude.
Right.
That dude's he's fast. He can, but like
He can fill in the blank if you need him to
Sure.
fill in the blank, but
Right.
you don't
He's
ever
not your
want him to fill in.
consistent guy.
No.
yeah. I mean, you're not. He's not going to be a guy that you're confident in rolling out in your lineup week in and week out.
He
There was
kinda-
talk last year when the Packers were looking for like depth at wide receiver. They're like, oh, they should trade for Will Fuller. And I was like, absolutely not. No, we should not give up anything to bring in Will Fuller for the remainder of the season. Just
We
so he
have
can
Valdez
bounce.
Scantling, man.
I mean, okay.
We have Valdez
Yeah,
Scantling.
dude, that dude's got frying pan hands for sure. But that's another issue
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah.
Fuller is not someone you should really invest a lot of stock in. I agree with that.
If any.
Great hair, though.
Great hair.
Great hair.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing bust, right? Yeah, my bust wide receiver
Bust.
of the season is going to be A.J. Brown, okay? Some people might not like to hear that, but here's my thinking on it, all right? I don't think that A.J. Brown's going to do terrible this season, but just like you were talking about earlier, there's Julio Jones in the house now. That's another big mouth to feed. Now, it's one of those things that I don't know who's going to be the number one now, A.J. Brown or Julio. Julio has always been a big star. He's always been a top 3 fantasy player. How does that mix with Ryan Tannehill? We don't know. If he does catch some fire, you got to assume Julio's taken over at least 700 to 1,000 yards away from somebody.
Absolutely.
Julio's a beast. He's going to be
gonna get
grabbing
his.
some touches.
It's Julio.
You got Derrick Henry, like you said. If the Titans can get up big in games with all this firepower, they might just have to run it down. So you do have the potential of wide receivers on some of these bigger teams. You might not even get a lot of action in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, man down.
Man down.
I agree. I agree with you there. Holy shit! That's,
And I'm thinking too, it's like where he's getting drafted. He's getting drafted as like a top 10 wide receiver. So, like you were saying earlier,
He's going high.
you know, I just don't think the position he's getting drafted at is gonna produce what you're expecting. So you're drafting as a top 10, you're expecting top 10. I'm seeing him finishing somewhere in the 30s, you know, range. You
yeah,
know?
and you know that. With that being said, so last year we had talked about this a bit earlier, but last year it was Calvin Ridley and Julio right in Atlanta, and when Julio played, Ridley's numbers suffered significantly.
Exactly.
And when Julio was out, I think Calvin Ridley was like a wide receiver 3. So like just, you know, that alone can give you some sort of indication on what could possibly happen with A.J. Brown. But hold on, that being said, Julio, I don't think Julio's healthy anymore, dude.
No,
Like,
he's not
he-
healthy,
he-
but
dude,
he's
he-
out there. They're paying him to be out there and to be
they're
Julio Jones.
always paying him to be out there and be Julio Jones, but he's never out there.
I think
man.
at this point in Julio's career, if
Yeah.
you can get double-digit games from him, that's a successful season.
I think so too, but I mean, that's, you know, there's 17 games now.
yeah, it's a huge question mark.
But
for
even
sure.
if he
16
plays half
games,
of them, let's
17
say he
weeks.
plays half of them, and I mean, he eats up, you know, 50, 70 yards a game, he's going to eat something.
He is,
That's
he
all
is.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
If you had the old Titans team where your number 2 was Corey Davis, and it was a very clear, you know, distinguishing, hey, you're the number 1, you're the number 2. Now I just feel like, all right, you're number 1A, you're number 1B, and then we got this guy called Derrick Henry. So, all right, our last bust pick for wide receiver, Landon, who you got?
I had some fun with this one. If you're wearing a Texans uniform, I'm not putting you on my football team. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, but Houston is just a bad football team. There's no names in that locker room that really make you sit down and like, ooh, that person's gonna flame. There's just no confidence in anyone in that locker room.
Oh,
That's
so you're-
Brandon Cooks with Deshaun Watson, okay, but he's gonna have Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback this year. He's not gonna get 100 targets again.
So you're roasting the entire Texans
That
offense.
entire team.
Okay, it's not a player, it's a
sorry,
whole
not-
organization.
The whole organization right now is a dumpster fire, and I'm sorry, just stay away.
Yeah.
Only if you have marshmallows and you're looking to roast them, step right up to the Houston Texans
S'mores
offense.
for everybody in Texas.
Ah, yeah, we love s'mores in Texas, boy. We love them.
Yeah.
They are tasty.
All right, so let us know what you think down in the comments. Who's your boom and bust wide receiver? And catch our next segment where we talk about tight ends.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to move on to tight ends now. Right now, we got 5 booms, 5 bust tight ends for you. Starting off is our boy Cam. Who do you got for a boom?
I'm going to say Kittle. And I know this is like, what a surprise, shocker. Kittle's going to be good. But, like, I've seen people taking Waller over Kittle. I think that that's crazy. I like Waller, too. Obviously, that's a big tier break after those 3 guys. But Kittle had his, like tight end academy? Is that
Yeah.
what they called it?
Yeah.
And I think that he learned some things from Kelsey and Waller, and I think he's gonna take a step. I know he's already really good, but I
Yeah.
think he's gonna take a step. I think he's gonna stay healthy, and I think if you get him, you're gonna get great value. So
I agree.
So you're
No
saying
surprises.
Kittle over Kelsey this year?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think it's gonna be closer than people think.
I mean, I think when Kittle had that monster year, 2 years ago, I don't think it was too far off of Kelsey.
No,
man.
they're
Like,
1 and 2. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a unanimous. Hey, that's the number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like those guys are in a league of their own.
I've seen people taking Waller over Kittle. A little
yeah,
bit
but
in
I
some
don't think.
mock
But
drafts.
I don't think that is
Not always, but-
super ridiculous. Just because the Raiders have nobody, they have no receivers, man. Like they don't. I mean, they got
They're also
Henry.
just not gonna be very good though.
Well, what
Right, but I mean, like I think I would also take Kittle over Waller, but I think the argument for
Right.
Waller over Kittle, I think, would just solely be the fact that
More weapons in San Fran.
there's more weapons
Yeah.
in San Fran. But
I
yeah,
would
I'm
see
okay with
Tebow.
Kittle as a boom, just strictly because, like you said, I think he does have another step, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm okay with that. And tight end is a fickle, weird position. So there's only so many
Well, good thing about Kittle, too,
Absolutely.
is he's kind of like a tight end / wide receiver. He's one of those ones that lines up, and you're almost getting a tight end at wide receiver value, or you're getting wide receiver at tight end value.
That's exactly what you're getting.
So that's always a good thing to look at when you're looking at tight ends, who plays a lot of snaps outside into the slot or something like that.
Yep.
Give yourself a better chance of picking up some points.
Right.
All right, who do you got over there for your boomer?
I'm going to go with Noah Fant, okay? And I think Noah Fant, he's always, the last few years, he's on the people's radars. I mean, the case I have for him is similar to the case I would have for Waller, is that there's just not much going on in Denver. Like, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy are guys. They're guys. But, like Noah Fant is a big part of that offense. He also needs to stay healthy. And what we talked about earlier with Melvin Gordon, like their run game is not great. So I think, if he stays healthy, he's going to get the volume. He has the potential to be something, a top 5, tight end.
Who's
but
throwing the ball there in Denver right now, week 1? What do you think?
Nobody. Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, yeah.
Nobody
Is
who
that-
could.
is that
Nobody
who you want?
No, but not at all. But I mean, Drew Lock. I mean, I'd rather have Drew Lock throwing a 10-yard pass to Noah Fant than I would have Drew Lock throwing a 30-yard pass to Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel a lot of these tight end players, you almost sometimes become better because the rest of your team sucks, If your quarterback can't complete a deep throw, he's going to dump it off to either a running back or a tight end, like you said, 10 yards down the field. So I think that's this little situation with Noah
Fant.
With Noah Fant.
Yeah, and
you're
I
going to
mean-
have a lot of stuff to where you need a quick little check down pass. That's a tight end reception.
But also, I will also say, like, an argument. I will give a little argument against him as well. Is that, like, he's been on this list for a few years now. Like, kind of like Noah Fant's the guy to look out for, to watch, and like he's shown potential. And I hope he can stay healthy and that Drew Lock isn't an absolute garbage can. And that he can, but I think they got Teddy Checkdown as well as their backup, and Teddy Checkdown checks down.
yeah, so that
So
could,
if Teddy Checkdown go check down, he gonna check down to Noah.
oh yeah. All right, so yeah, there's a little boom pick for you. Noah Fant with the Broncos. Frosty, who you thinking about?
I'm looking at Kyle Pitts, rookie for Atlanta.
Oh, I'm liking that.
With Julio gone, he's gonna move into that number 2 target. At the number 2 target, and I think he's gonna do big things.
Yeah, I'm real
Matt
big.
Ryan's smart. He's gonna be able to just
Yeah, I'm big on Kyle Pitts too. That was actually my pick.
Yeah, piggyback on that.
Yep. Yeah, you got Julio gone now. We all know the Atlanta Falcons love to throw the ball, and
Absolutely.
the last few seasons they're always playing from behind.
Yep.
When you play from behind and when you lose in fantasy football, you have to throw the ball. So who benefits from that? Receivers, tight ends, you got to throw it down the field. So
For sure.
Kyle Pitts is an absolute beast of a man.
I mean, I think he ran like a 4.40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big boy and he's fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
6'6", 240.
The Atlanta did change I think their head coach is now the old Titans offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. And they liked to run the ball down there. I mean, I know they had Derrick Henry, but they did like to run the ball. So I would be wary of, the offense changing. I think it might be different than the Falcons of old. Like the Falcons of old, slanging and banging it. But I don't know.
Austin Hooper had a big season a few seasons ago, right? Out of the tight end position for the Falcons. So
And it wouldn't scare me away from Kyle Pitts just because I think that, he's a beast.
yeah.
So-
well, exactly. Usually the players on your team that are the best, they're going to naturally try to get them involved most. So you don't have a lot of firepower in Atlanta right now. Kyle Pitts was their number 1 draft pick, so they're expecting big things from him. Frosty's expecting big things. I'm expecting big things. So yeah, that's our pick, Kyle Pitts. Landon, who are you thinking about?
I'm gonna look to the Motor City and go with the Tej, Mr. Hawkinson. The Tej. I like TJ Hawkinson. There's some reports that are coming out that saying Goff has been getting real chummy with the tight ends, basically because the receiving core is not great.
I don't even think they have wide receivers on their team.
Their starting 3 receivers are Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perriman, and the best name of all, Amon-Ra St. Brown. right? That's their.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like those are the receivers, and I mean Hawkinson.
Detroit, what?
Ugh. But Hawkinson had 100 targets last year with Stafford there, and remember Marvin Jones Jr. was there. He caught a lot of balls. Kenny Galladay was there, and he got a lot of looks too. So Hawkinson, they lost both of those guys, and now they've got, like I said, the three dudes that we were just like, what?
Yeah.
So Hawkinson's gonna get some looks from Goff, and I think he's gonna. I think of the. So we all know that there's the Kittle and Kelsey and Waller, those three, the elites.
Yep.
I think of the next batch, like the second tier. I think that Hawkinson has the best chance of closing that gap.
I was just going to say that. I think that Hawkinson is probably the next one after those. And I think that he has, the potential. Like, he had a big year last year. The potential for him, I think, is really big. And Detroit sucks.
They're not good.
Suck.
Yeah, and then like I just said, Goff likes the tight end, so just dump.
I agree. Yeah, I
checkdowns.
think that's safe.
So those are our 5 boom picks. Right now we got 5 bust picks for you. These are tight ends that we do not think you should draft and are going to do nothing but hurt your team. Cam, who are you thinking about?
Man, there are a lot of choices here.
I mean,
Pretty much the whole field.
No,
is
I'm with. It's like we said. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 dudes this year that you're like, okay, with 3 you're happy with,
Right.
2 you're like they could be good, and everybody else it's like, who fucking knows, man?
Yeah.
But
if
these
you
are
don't-
also guys we're talking about that people are going to be drafting and they're going to disappoint
course.
you because
Yeah.
there's a lot of garbage that aren't going to produce. We're only giving you picks that people are going to potentially draft that we're thinking are to be a bust, so don't draft them, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about here with these next picks. So who did you have?
I'm going with TJ Hawkinson as my bust.
Oh, more friction. He was
And-
not feeling it.
Here's why. Okay, once I just have to bring it up again. Don't take your fantasy advice from Landon. And 2, try to avoid Detroit Lions. Okay, and look, after those first 3 guys are gone, nobody really knows who's going to be the guy or who's not going to be the guy. TJ might be, probably not. But I just think he's getting a lot of hype. So I think his draft stock is going to rise up, and where he's going, I think, is just a little bit higher than some of these other guys like Pitts maybe that I think is going to be just as good. So stay off of the Detroit Lions hype. That's my
I mean,
So 1 for TJ Hawkinson, 1 for not TJ Hawkinson. Jay Stevens, who you thinking, bro?
I'm gonna go with Bobby G. That's Rob Gronkowski from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, Bobby G.
Old Bobby Giraldo. He's just kind of a bum, man. Like it's the only reason he's in any sort of relevance is because, like Cam was saying earlier, I mean, there's just no tight ends, man. There's just none. And he, when he was doing anything, he was getting like 1 reception for 7 yards and a touchdown, which is fine. But like he wasn't getting that consistently. I mean, how much longer can Bobby G party like an animal and continue to he's got like a robotic arm and shit, man.
Well, I think at this point though, there's just so many weapons there, Like
I mean,
Antonio
that's where
Brown,
I was
Mike
going
Evans,
as
Chris
well.
Godwin, those 3 guys, somebody's going to be open. You don't necessarily need to check
Yeah,
that most of the time.
I think you can just basically more or less with any of the tight ends after those 3, and I would put Hawkinson and Pitts, so let's go those 5. After that, it's like, dude, you could put all of them in just a straight up boom or bust category because it's just like you're not likely
either
to
way.
you're not likely to get any sort of consistency from these dudes anyways. You're not gonna be like, wow, I got we thought we had that with Jonnu Smith last year and he had 3 games that were just absurd and then just got a bit hurt and then just blanked for the entire rest of the year.
Yeah, with tight ends, you definitely want a pick that's going to be consistent. A lot of these guys will give you 0 or 1 catches some weeks. If you can at least lock in a tight end that's going to give you 3 catches and maybe 5 looks a game, you're already ahead of the game.
And I mean, also remember, half of your league is going to have tight ends that are questionable.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's just that.
Yep. All right, Frosty, who's your buster?
I'm going with go with Goddard. From we talked about him earlier. It's Philly.
Yeah.
It's Philly. We know the problems they're having. Hurts is going to be a bust. So therefore,
Let's just throw them all on the list.
Just
Well, I think
Well, there's two people in Philly. There's
Yeah,
a Ertz
that-
and
see-
a Hurts,
Well, right,
that are
right,
both going
right.
to
So you're gonna have to
impact
divide
this.
and conquer between the two of those, and then it's just not.
I
gonna
agree,
happen.
and like people are, still kind of on that. Like last year, they were like, we need, you need to be drafting Dallas Goedert. The year before, draft Dallas Goedert. This year, draft Dallas Goedert. And it's like, I mean, even last year, Ertz sucked. He was not good last year, and Dallas Goedert was also not good
great.
last year.
Yeah.
So it's like there's two of them still. Like no matter what, Goddard's going to be sharing something with Ertz.
Yeah, this very rarely works at a high level consistently to where you have two tight ends that are consistently producing every week. You can have a system where you have two tight ends that are part of the offense, but to play them and start them, you're going to have better options out there with a team that's got one guy. That's their guy, like a Hunter Henry, something like that. Like, hey, you're not going to put up a lot, but at least you're the guy. The problem in Philly is you don't know if Ertz is going to go out there. You don't know if
Right.
Goddard's going to go
Yeah,
out there.
with two tight ends,
And you don't even know if they're going to get any action.
Tight ends in general don't get a ton of looks. So when you're dividing that between two, it's just it's not the move.
Hunter Henry also trash, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he didn't even make our list. That's how trash he is.
I mean, I forgot he existed.
Yeah.
Cam mentioned him the other day in some sort of conversation, and I'm like,
I don't think he's going to be that bad. I mean, he's got Herbert there. I mean, he should
no,
do
yeah,
something.
he's not in.
Oh, did he's
not
gone?
in San Diego.
Oh, yeah, I haven't kept up with
He's playing
him.
with your boy Cam Newton.
Yeah, he's in.
Oh,
he's,
is he?
yeah, he's in. But they do like
There's a lot of those players that fall off my radar. I don't even know what
they
what's
do
happening.
like the tight ends in New England though. So I mean, there's that. They got Jonnu Smith as well. Yeah. So I mean, but I don't think either of those dudes are going to have much fantasy relevance. I'd like to see something before I consider taking them.
Dallas Goedert was also my pick. We just talked about him, so we're sending it over to Landon for our last bust of the tight ends.
I'm gonna have to go with Tunyon. It breaks my heart to go against the cheese, but dude had 11 touchdowns last year. Dude is not gonna have 11 touchdowns this year.
Did he have like 2-3 touchdown games?
There were
Yeah, like his
Like
first game, he had 3 touchdowns.
He's not gonna reproduce that. Aaron Rodgers wanted to trade for Randall Cobb for a reason. Like Aaron Rodgers trusts Randall Cobb. If he's got to check down, he's gonna check down to Randall Cobb and not Tunyon. So I don't really have a lot of faith in Tunyon this year.
The good side of
wouldn't either.
Tunyon, though, I mean, I'm not really high on him either, but at least you have a solid quarterback there. You know, a lot of these other
A
teams
QB
you're going,
that can get him the ball,
you
right?
don't even have a chance because your quarterback sucks. At least with the Packers, you go, hey, you at least have a guy that's capable
Rodgers
of.
is not Jalen Hurts.
I think you could do worse. I think you could do worse than Tunyon, but I agree with you. I don't like him.
But he's a pick as a bust. He's people are drafting him. They're expecting things out of him, and that's why he's a bust because we think he's not going to do anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
So those are our picks for tight ends, boom or bust. We hope you enjoyed that. Let us know down in the comments who you would pick and anybody you're thinking for this season.
Yep.
All right, and here comes our last segment of our 2021 Fantasy Football Pre-Draft Special. We have already done quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. If you missed those videos, check the description. We got links to those. Right now, we got 10 sleeper picks. These are 10 people that we think are being drafted low, but they're going to be much better than their drafting position. These are guys that you can get for a steal that are going to help you win your league. So pay attention, take some notes. 10 sleeper picks right now. First up, we got our boy Cam. Who you thinking, bro?
I'm going with Michael Thomas.
Yep.
All right.
Mike
and
Thomas?
Michael Thomas. He's going anywhere from rounds like 6 to 8. You can probably get him in. And if you already have 2 wide receivers on your roster at that point, like let's say you draft him in round 7, you've already picked 6 guys. You easily could already have 2 wide receivers. That means you're going to slot him in your bench position or like a flex maybe or something. And he's going to be injured at the beginning of the year, and he was disappointing last year. He got burned a lot of fans last year, but we know the talent's there, and there's a chance that he could be an amazing wide receiver this year when he comes back and is healthy. And if you can get that in round 7 and you already got guys that are established earlier so you feel a little bit more comfortable with it, I think that is a great sleeper pick because we've seen him do it. We know what he can do.
When Jameis Winston linked up with Chris Godwin a couple seasons ago to produce the overall number 2.
Jameis is going to slang it.
I was going to say, if it's Jameson over Taysom Hill back there, I like it even better, right?
Yeah.
Because we know Jameson throws that rock. Taysom Hill's that wild card, but I just think, like,
Well-
at that round, it's great value.
Where are you comfortable drafting Michael Thomas?
I'm comfortable drafting him in one of those like 6
So
to 8
sick.
rounds if I have 2 wide receivers I already like. I think that's the key thing. If you don't have like if you're counting on him to be your wide receiver 1 or 2, that's a little bit
Dicey.
risky.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
not what you want. But if you already got 2 guys that you trust, and then you can get him as like hey, maybe he ends up being a wide receiver 1 or 2 or a great flex. That's where I feel comfortable.
And wide receivers deep, right? Like
Yeah.
wide receivers so deep. So like I mean, if you want to go that route, like Cam is saying, is that I think you solidify your 2, like Cam said, and I think you can get him at a good value.
Well, and he had a nice little rapport with Taysom Hill at the end of the season. He didn't put up any touchdowns, but he had some nice stat lines. 7, 8 receptions, 80 yards a game or so. So Michael Thomas, you know the name. He's probably
Yeah.
not on your draft list, but Cam thinks don't sleep on him.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay Stevens?
I'm gonna go with a dude that I think it's kind of disrespected year in and year out is pretty good. That's Curtis Samuel. Last year I think he was a waiver guy last year, but last year in Carolina, he's in Washington now. But last year in Carolina, he was when McCaffrey went down. I mean, he was running the ball. He was coming out of the backfield. Like he was putting up some big boy games. Very startable guy, and I think he got a nice contract in Washington. Fitzpatrick is also one of those guys who slangs the rock. Like,
Yep.
I mean, they got McLaurin, and I almost put McLaurin as a bust because, I mean, Samuel coming in there, but like now they have, it seems like some legitimate weapons over there, and I think Curtis Samuel could be a big piece.
Yeah, and he's really low down on the ADP, so you can grab him at the end of your draft
Yeah.
if he's even grabbed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Frosty, who you thinking, bro?
I went deep. I went real deep with my sleepers.
Who'd you got?
I'm going Jacob Eason.
Jacob
Jacob
Eason.
From the Colts. We know Wentz's track record. We know what's going to happen.
What? Is he going to get hurt?
Week 2.
Hurt?
Week 2.
He's
Week
already
2.
hurt. Is he gonna get hurt or is he gonna suck?
He's your sleeper
Yes.
because he's
Both.
sleeping on the bench?
No,
He's
no.
hurt,
He's
sleeping?
coming in. He's going to come in. He's going to get his shot maybe week 2 or 3. And
Not Jacob Eason might start the season.
Yeah. He started week 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Wentz plays. Wentz is
Yeah.
out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that dude's
Yeah. So
definitely.
I think I think he's going to come in and let's go.
Cam, what do you think?
As a Colts fan, I love it. Love that pick. Love that pick. I mean, here's the deal. Jacob Eason, from everything I've read, throws the deep ball nice. Doesn't have a lot of touch. Very raw. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Maybe it will revive T.Y. Hilton's career a little bit. T.Y. is a deep wide receiver. Phillip Rivers couldn't throw the ball deep. Eason can. Maybe you look for an Eason T.Y. connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
I think.
Well,
that's
I
why he's a
fingers crossed.
sleeper.
I think
That's
you-
why he's a
yeah, I
sleeper.
think
He's
yeah.
not expected to do anything right now. So, okay. One of my sleeper picks for this year is going to be Jacoby Myers. Okay, Jacoby Myers is third-year guy. He plays for the New England Patriots. Okay, he had a first 2 good seasons. You know, the Patriots. They've had their offensive struggles, but he came in last year. He was the leading receiver for the Patriots. It's his 3rd year. He's in great health. He's played all 32 games the first 2 seasons. So he's got everything looking up for him, okay? You got the new guy coming in. You got Mac Jones coming in that want to hopefully throw in some tutties. And I just think that he's got a chance. He's the number 1 guy over there in New England, and anytime you can get a guy that's projected to be the number 1, either wide receiver or running back, they should have a shot at doing something. So Jacoby Myers, you can get him late round. Good talent, good receiver. Don't sleep on him.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, Landon, who you got, brother?
I'm gonna go with Logan Thomas, tight end from Washington. A lot of people, we were just talking about tight ends, how it's, you've got 3 good ones, like great ones. You've got 2 that are like, and then half of your league, whatever league you're in, half of them don't have good tight ends.
Yep.
So if you get late in rounds and you need a tight end, look at Logan Thomas. He had 100 targets last year. The dude gets looks. He's got an upgraded quarterback with Fitzmagic. They're gonna pass the ball a little. Just why not? If you don't have a tight end and you're in double-digit rounds, Logan Thomas.
Or if Antonio Gibson isn't soaking up all the touches.
Yeah, no, but I think Logan Thomas is all right. He's shown signs and flashes of being, looks like somebody.
Another young guy, too. What's his year? How long's he been in the league?
He honestly, I don't even.
Maybe
he's not,
three. Maybe you're three now.
He's a converted quarterback too. Which
Yeah, he
by the
is.
way, so.
He is.
Another Tim
I think it's
Tebow.
Three or 4 years, I think not too. Well, clearly
Tim
little,
Tebow got
a little better than
absolutely
Tebow.
trucked in that
Did
preseason
you
game.
see those awful blocks and routes run? That was just depressing. Man.
And I
felt real bad for Tim Tebow.
He's on our fucking do not draft list.
Hopefully you didn't have an early
Hopefully
draft
you didn't have an
this
early
year.
draft to draft Tim Tebow.
He's
Yeah.
in the
And you live
NFL's
in
do not
Jacksonville.
draft list, man, not just ours.
Yeah, true.
Okay, all right, we got 5 more picks for you. Those are 5 sleepers. We're going to go around the horn one more time. Everybody's got one more top pick for you. Cam.
All right, this is a guy that we talked about before, but I'm going back to him, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Sleepity sleep.
Thought you might like that one.
I do.
Obviously, Jay Stevens is not sleeping on Justin Fields.
I'm not.
But he's only getting drafted in about 25% of leagues right now. He's might not be a week 1 starter, probably not, maybe. But he's a running quarterback, and running quarterbacks always have fantasy value, even when their real football value is not that high.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Bears fan, so I'm not going to get on like Jay Stevens. But if Justin Fields comes in and, worst case scenario, he struggles playing the game in real life, his fantasy value is still going to be high because he's going to run. He's probably going to get some running touchdowns. And, that's a good sleeper pick there for your quarterback.
I agree, and I also think it could be similar to like Jalen Hurts was last year, because when Jalen Hurts came in last year, he put up fantasy relevant, numbers, and he was
Which is
decent.
why I'm not as low as him as some of you guys.
No, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I agree. But he was, those are the numbers that he put up, and they weren't very good. So, that's what I'm saying. So,
Well,
Running quarterbacks score points in fantasy.
Yeah,
it's
they
just
do.
the way it works.
They do.
Well, and about mid-season, too, you start having all the bye weeks, right? So at some point, your quarterback that's starting your team and has been getting you points, he's going to have to sit out. Mid-season is when you start picking up quarterbacks off the waiver wires. Mid-season is also when teams start switching up their QB to go, all right, you didn't pan out the first 6 games.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, get in there,
And
Hey,
keep-
Trey
hey,
Lance, get in there,
Keep your eye out for those dudes. Yeah, like with Trey Lance and Justin Fields, man. Because if they're not on a roster, and it's, be aware of the situations with those teams.
Yep.
Because once they are named the starter, those dudes are going to fly off of the waiver wires.
I mean, look at Justin Herbert last
Herbert,
year.
exactly,
Yeah, like
exactly.
he came in around, I don't know, week 4 or
Yeah.
something, and he was great.
Oh,
he was great. I was
amazing.
able to pick him up in the
Yeah.
league, and
he was amazing.
yeah,
It was
really
awesome.
nice. So
Yeah.
there will be that guy this year. Maybe it's Mac Jones, Trey Lance,
Yeah,
but maybe
keep
it's
keep
Justin
your eye on
Fields.
those teams. Just know what's going on with them, because they're going to be hot pickups if they're not already owned in rosters.
Yeah, get yourself a good backup QB while you can before they go hot off the
Yeah,
waivers.
they're gonna.
Okay, Jay Stevens, another sleeper for the people.
Who do I? Oh, I got Javonte Williams, and that is old dirty Melvin Gordon's backup. He's a rookie. He's also being drafted quite late. Do we trust Melvin Gordon? The answer is no.
Nope.
So he's young. He's a rookie. He's shown signs of being explosive. He looks like he's eventually going to be the guy. So if you want to take a flyer late round when old dirty Melvin does something dumb and just blows it, he fumbles. He's a fumbling machine. Then Javonte Williams steps in, takes the role, and now you have a lead back.
Yeah, and most teams, you don't really have many bell cows anymore. So no matter what you get, you're going to have a team, they're sharing the workload. Get a back that is skillful, that when he gets his share of the workload, he's going to be able to do something. So it's not always a bad thing to have a committee. It's kind of the norm now, right? You got people sharing touches. He's one of those guys that when he gets his touches, he looks fresh. He looks like he can do something with them. And if he does take over as a rookie, sky could be the limit for him, and he's going super deep, super late.
Yep.
I like it. All right, Frosty, who you got? Last one.
Last one, I'm gonna go with Gio Bernard. He was in Cincy. He had flashes of good stuff. Now he's down in Tampa. He's gonna be the backup to Rojo, but I just don't think Rojo's consistent enough.
Is old Lenny still there? Fournette?
I don't know. I think so. I
It's
think
so-
so. But he also had no. He didn't really have much.
No.
impact last year.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, so
I think he is.
I think
he's
Gio's going to
there.
get up there, get some touches, and hopefully he can break out.
I mean, the
and-
thing
Yeah,
with
Fournette,
Gio's,
Fournette's still with the Bucks.
yeah, the thing with Gio is like he is a good third down back, and he was he can catch,
yeah.
and he was definitely ownable last year.
Yeah.
I know that Joe Mixon was hurt, but like he catches the ball out of the backfield. He's fast, like he can. That offense is going to be high powered, and like for the same reasons that maybe you don't want a lot of those dudes. Like I mean, Gio Bernard is a dude like you don't expect to do much. So he's a little sleepy guy.
Yeah.
I
And he's from North Carolina. Let's go.
Yeah, go
Tar Heels.
Heels.
Okay, I got another sleeper pick for you, and it is Marquez Callaway, okay? Remember the name. He is a Saints receiver. He's going to be the guy coming up. He tore it up in the preseason. He had some really nice games, and they said he's been the most consistent wide receiver out of the Saints camp. We know Michael Thomas is going to be out for a few weeks. We know Jameis Winston likes to air it out. We know Sean Payton likes to air it out. High-powered, high-fuel offense. Somebody's going to have to step up and take some of these catches. They said he's looked great. Same thing. He's a young guy. He doesn't have any injuries. That's another big thing on guys that I like this year. So Marquez Callaway, we talked about him today. Some people didn't even know his name. I didn't really know his name too much until recently. But
Yeah, I didn't know he is.
yeah, so Marquez Callaway, you can get him in almost all leagues. Check him out. If he has the opportunity, which he will, because Michael Thomas is out, he could be doing big things for your team.
He's going to have a chance to showcase his abilities the first few weeks, so you'll probably know what he is by
Yeah,
then.
if you got an extra bench spot, he's worth throwing on there. See if he blows up the first couple weeks, and you might have a starter real soon. Okay, back to Landon. This is our last sleeper pick of this segment.
All right.
got?
Also with another deep bench spot, if you're looking for some depth at wide receiver. If I butcher this name, I apologize to all parties involved.
Laviscus.
Lavisca Shenault Jr.
Laviscus
Shenault.
Shenault.
Shenault, or maybe it's like it's pronounced French, like hey Shenault, or something like that. But anyway, so this dude ending last year in Jacksonville in the last 5 games, he had 25 receptions. If you're in a PPR league, that's 25 points.
Yeah, it is.
He had 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He averaged 15 fantasy points a game. So the last 5 games. So he ended fairly strong for a dude that people are just like, who? They brought in some extra weapons in Jacksonville. They're running a new offense. They're gonna spread the ball around. Dude could get open. So if you need a third or fourth wide receiver, he's worth. I mean, especially when you start getting into bye weeks and you need someone to play flex. That's the dude. I'm not saying he's going to be your 1 or 2, but he's worth a look.
People are liking his potential. They are. I've seen a lot on Laviscus.
Well, and people are expecting big
Laviscus?
things out of that whole
Laviscus?
offense now. You know, you got Trevor Lawrence. You have the number 1 overall pick. People are expecting production. You know, so
Urban
DJ
Meyer's there.
Shark.
Everyone is like, "Oh man, we're gonna be the BCS champions." Oh wait a minute, we're talking about the NFL now.
I don't like any of them. Unfortunately, I don't like any. I like Laviscus Shenault more than I like Marvin Jones Jr. or DJ Chark Jr.
Junior
I
Trio.
hate DJ Chark, man.
Okay, so let us know what you think down in the comments. Those are 10 sleeper picks for you. We hope you can pick those guys up and win your league. Shout out to all the boys that came into the session
Thanks,
today.
guys. Appreciate it.
This is the Weird Sauce Show. Catch us in the next segment on fantasy football. Later, fam.
Later.